Just get more comfortable.
Sophie, I know we talked about it a lot, but what is this roller coaster of a season kind of just?
I've never met an athlete or a coach who didn't nod their head when I said, the mental part of the game is everything. I'm Dr. Michael Gervais, high-performance psychologist. For the past 8 years, I've worked with the Seattle Seahawks, and let me tell you, right now is one of the most exciting moments in sports history. For decades, the NFL and NBA, two of the biggest, most powerful organizations on the planet, have invested billions in training the body.
But now,
They're finally mandating that every team must have a psychologist on staff.
why?
Because they've realized what athletes have always known deep down. Your mind can either be your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. When I was a young athlete, I failed. Not because I wasn't trained. Not because I wasn't strong. But because the noise inside my head drowned out my ability to perform. I had to earn my scars on the field of self-doubt. And that pain, that failure, set me on a journey. Psychology degree, master's in sports science, PhD in psychology, and eventually working with warriors in environments where mistakes don't just cost games, they cost limbs, lives, and legacies. The question that drives my life is simple but terrifying. How do human beings perform when the stakes are so high that failure feels unbearable? When I first sat down with Coach Pete Carroll over dinner, I realized he wasn't just building a football team, he was building an ecosystem. A culture. A place where human beings could thrive under fire. Where relationships, not just playbooks, became the foundation. His philosophy is 2 words, but they're explosive. Always compete. Not just to win games, but to be a better father, a better husband, a better friend, a better human. That philosophy organizes his entire life. And when you get that right, something incredible happens. Transformation spreads like wildfire across an entire team. So, where do we begin? It starts with one thing most people never stop to ask. What do you stand for? Strip away the noise, the distractions, the doubts, and write it down. 25 words or less. That signal will cut through the chaos when the pressure is crushing you. But having a philosophy isn't enough. You have to train your mind the same way you train your body. Repetitions. Rehearsals. Conviction under pressure. Can you stay present when the game is on the line? Can you stay calm when mistakes cost everything? That's mental strength. And the most powerful way we know how to train it is mindfulness. Mindfulness is not some hippie buzzword. It is the science of performance under fire. The research is crystal clear. It changes the very structure of your brain. It rewires your neurochemistry. It lowers blood pressure, sharpens focus, regulates sleep, and unleashes flow state, the most powerful performance state a human can reach. But here's the shocking part. Most of us live our lives in the default mode network. A survival loop where your brain constantly asks, am I okay? Am I safe? Am I good enough? That voice in your head is ancient. It's designed to protect you. But in high-performance environments, it's your prison. Mindfulness suppresses that loop. It creates the space where flow happens, where fear dissolves, where you step into the present moment with absolute clarity. Think about it. You can train 3 things in life. Your craft, your body, your mind. Most athletes spend thousands of hours on the first 2 and ignore the third. That's the gap. That's the edge. That's where greatness lives. And when you practice it, when you really commit, everything changes. You stop being a slave to your thoughts. You stop choking when the lights are brightest. You discover that optimism isn't wishful thinking, it's a weapon. Optimism says, this will work out. I'm not quitting. I'm staying in the fight. That's not fluff. That's science. At the University of Pennsylvania, they found that just writing down 3 amazing things at the end of your day measurably increases optimism. Imagine the compounding effect of that every day for a year. This is why athletes are now embracing it. Some call it weird. Some say it feels overwhelming. But the ones who get it, they see it for what it is, an untapped competitive advantage. The edge that separates good from great. We're not just talking about sports here. We're talking about life. Parenting. Leadership, relationships, health, flourishing as a human being. And if you're not training your mind, You're leaving your potential on the table. The battle for the mind, there's a saying in sports, the body will quit long before the mind does. But here's the truth. Most athletes' minds quit before their bodies ever reach the limit. You've seen it. An athlete freezes in the biggest game of their life. A fighter steps into the cage, and the lights suddenly feel blinding. A quarterback has trained for years, but in the fourth quarter, the noise inside his head is louder than the roar of 70,000 fans. What happened? Their body didn't fail them. Their training didn't fail them. Their mind failed them. This is why psychology isn't soft. It's the sharpest weapon we have. If your mind isn't trained, you're not just vulnerable, you're already beaten. When I work with athletes, the first truth I share with them is this. Pressure is not real. Pressure is perception. Pressure is a story you tell yourself. The crowd doesn't create pressure. The scoreboard doesn't create pressure. The clock doesn't create pressure. Your thoughts create pressure. And here's the shocking part. The brain is a liar. It will create fear out of thin air. It will tell you you're not ready. You're going to choke. Everyone's watching. And if you believe that story, your body will follow. Your muscles tighten. Your breath shortens. Your vision narrows. You collapse under a weight that never even existed. That's why training the mind isn't optional. It's oxygen. The science of clutch, let me give you an example. Neuroscientists discovered something called the default mode network. This is the part of your brain that never shuts up. It constantly whispers, am I safe? Am I good enough? What if I fail? What will they think of me? That loop is designed for survival. Thousands of years ago, it kept us alive. But today, under stadium lights, on the Olympic track, in the Super Bowl, this survival loop becomes your cage. It robs you of freedom. Through mindfulness training, through disciplined mental reps, athletes learn how to quiet that loop. And when they do, something extraordinary happens. They enter flow state. Flow is the most powerful state a human being can experience. Time slows down. Vision sharpens. The body moves without hesitation. The game feels effortless, even though the stakes are suffocating. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Flow isn't luck. It's not magic. It's a skill, a trainable state. Breaking the stigma for years, athletes thought of mindfulness as hippie stuff. Something soft, something spiritual, something that didn't belong in the warrior's arena. But science has killed that stigma. MRI scans now show that mindfulness literally reshapes the brain. It strengthens neural pathways for focus. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. It builds resilience. And athletes, modern gladiators, are realizing that mental training is no different from physical training. Squats build legs. Meditation builds mental armor. I've seen it firsthand. NFL players who couldn't handle the crowd, suddenly walking into enemy stadiums with calm fire in their eyes. Olympians who used to crack under the weight of expectation, now breathing into the moment and unleashing the best performance of their lives. Fighters who were terrified of losing, transforming that fear into laser focus. This isn't theory. This is transformation. Optimism as a weapon. Let's talk about optimism. Not toxic positivity. Not pretending everything is fine. Real optimism. Optimism is the belief that no matter what, this will work out. That doesn't mean ignoring struggle. It means embracing it. It means staying in the fight long enough to discover your true edge. Research from the University of Pennsylvania proved it. People who write down 3 good things every day measurably increase their optimism. Why does that matter? Because optimism isn't just about happiness. It's about performance. An optimistic mind doesn't shut down under adversity. An optimistic mind sees failure as feedback. An optimistic mind keeps going when everything screams quit. And in the arena, whether it's the NFL, the NBA, or life, the only people who discover their true potential are the ones who don't quit. Mental training equals human training. When I train athletes, I tell them there are only 3 things you can train in life: your craft, your body, your mind. Most spend thousands of hours on the first 2 and neglect the third. That's like building a Ferrari with no steering wheel. You've got power. You've got speed. but you'll crash the moment things get chaotic. The mind is the steering wheel of human performance. If you don't train it, you're gambling with your potential. Mindfulness gives you control. It teaches you to return, again and again, to the present moment, to let go of distraction, to let go of fear, to let go of everything except the task in front of you. And once you can do that consistently, when the noise is deafening, when the lights are blinding, when the stakes are terrifying, you unlock the door to greatness. The shocking truth about greatness, here's the part most people don't want to hear. Greatness isn't comfortable. Greatness isn't glamorous. Greatness requires walking into fire, over and over, and refusing to break. It requires facing the voice in your head that says, you can't. It requires learning how to dominate not just your opponent, but your own self-doubt. And this is where the shocking truth lies. The biggest opponent you will ever face is your own mind. Every champion I've worked with has scars from that battle. Every legend has faced nights where they didn't believe. Every champion has heard that voice saying, you're not ready. You'll fail. Everyone's watching. But champions are different for one reason. They train their mind not to listen. Final words. So here's the challenge for athletes, coaches, leaders, parents, anyone who wants to unlock their true potential. Stop treating the mind as an afterthought. Stop pretending physical training is enough. Stop letting the default mode network run your life like a prison guard. Train your mind. Rehearse optimism. Practice mindfulness. Build conviction. Because when your body is exhausted, when the scoreboard is against you, when the world is doubting you, the only thing left between victory and collapse is the battlefield inside your head. And if you win that battle, there is nothing on earth that can stop you.